uniqueness, and that is Terri Merrick.
You guys, thank you. That is so sweet. That is so sweet. Well, tonight we are so excited to be hosting this gala that is the Power of Hope. And you've noticed on everything, never underestimate the power of a single seed sown in faith. And you're going to hear that quite a bit more as we progress on through the night. I think that he kind of touched on everybody. I just wanted to take just a minute before we dive in and just recognize the people that have just really put forth the extra effort to make this happen tonight. One, I want to say a special thank you to Corda de Luna and my beautiful daughter Bethany and her staff. They were amazing. Chef Bob, of course, and the food. And how about these speakers? Just hearing these diverse speakers from all the areas. And one of the things that we really want to foster, I guess, among us all at the Dream Center is unity. And I love working together. I just love working together with all these amazing people to bring hope to these people's lives. And then he's already recognized the big fish servers. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anybody, but probably we did. But my team this week has worked tirelessly, and I cannot even say thank you enough to them. So you probably noticed tonight, before we get into this, that there's all these little symbols on your table. Did you guys notice? So you had a little oak leaf tucked into your napkin. You had an acorn on your napkin. You have an acorn in your tree, okay? These are little oak trees. These are large oak trees. You probably noticed that. The acorn and the oak has been the symbol that we have stuck with since we started the Dream Center. And we were just one tiny little seed. One tiny little seed. And we keep planting the seeds. And now the little saplings are bringing forth, and we're going to honor two beautiful young trees tonight. And we're just so excited. So I wanted to just point that out. Since God put it in my heart that that this was going to be the theme for this year, that it was the power of hope. And I kept thinking about it, and I thought, what exactly is hope? And it's like, hold on a second, I wrote this down. I'm going to hold this because I feel like I'm looking down all the time, okay? Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. It's also a feeling of trust. A full definition of hope is to cherish and desire with anticipation. To want something to happen. Want something to be true. It's an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation of positive outcomes with respect to even events and circumstances in one's life or the world at large. We have to say that the people that we work with, for the most part, when we first are introduced or whatever, that they all have some part of them that's pretty hopeless. And one of the things that I discovered, because I've been thinking about this for, 6 or 7 months, and that is the fact that you cannot really understand the power of hope unless you've been hopeless. You cannot understand it unless you've been hopeless. But I would bet, if I could sit down and have coffee with each of you, which I actually would love to do because I'm a number 2 on the Enneagram, I would love to sit down and have coffee with every one of you and hear your story, that you have had a time when you felt hopeless too. When I start my story, when we're doing orientation, I always start my story about when I went to Calcutta, India, and about how God just ripped me open when I was working with the people there. But actually, my story, there is a backstory to that I don't talk about very much, but God asked me to share a little bit of it with you tonight. Over the past 2 years, I've been through a journey of actually, I'm a forward girl, okay? I want to go forward. If something bad happens, okay, that's done, let's just keep going. But sometimes you have to go back. And so in going back, I learned, and this is what I want to share just a little bit with you tonight. I do say that God cracked my heart open in Calcutta to see humanity and the value of a soul, but there is a backstory. That's what I want to share, okay? When you see on the outside and what you see in people that are around us is rarely the full story. In 2002, I found myself on a journey that I thought I would never, ever be on. And that was as a single mom with 4 kids. My life had rapidly came to a halt, and everything that I thought was going to be for my life, I felt like had just went up in flames. On the outside, I put on a really good show. You wouldn't have known it. But at night, when the lights were out, I would be in my bed crying because I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I didn't know why my life had fallen apart. I didn't know. And then it kind of culminated when I had kind of I guess you'd say, a mini breakdown. All I know is I was in the fetal position in my bed and I couldn't do anything. And there was people that started coming in to help me. But this is what I do remember. I remember the one that came and got me out of bed every day and made me get dressed and go exercise. I remember the one that came and took care of my kids and made sure my kids got to school. I remember the one that helped me pack up my house and move my kids. I remember the one who came by just so I could hold their baby, just because they knew it would make me feel better. And the one who came and helped me decorate my Christmas tree because I didn't have anything in me. That's what I remember. So I'm not going to belabor my sad story, okay? But it is my sad story. But what I want you to see is that when I went to Calcutta, I thought I was washed up. And I don't know, back then, that was a long time ago now, but back then in the church, I was walking around, I felt like I had this great big huge D on my forehead and that I would never do ministry again, okay? And when I was going back through this, and I was going, man, Calcutta was just such a turning point for me. And what I realized was, when I went there, nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew what I'd been through. Nobody was judging me. I could love. I could serve. I could do things. I didn't have to feel like I had a stigma on me. And those people were so beautiful. I was the one who was changed, of course. But I came back a different person. And I don't want to say this in a bad way, but before that, I had always ministered in the church. And I love the church. So for all my pastors out here, this isn't a diss, okay? I love the church. But I had always ministered in the church. But after that, I went to the homeless. And I went to the least. And I went to the ones that nobody wanted. Because you know what? They didn't judge me. And I just started loving on people, and then that's just the beginning. And all I can say is that was in 2009. It's 2021, and look what the Lord has done. And you know what? Today, I used to be afraid to ask for money, and I used to be afraid to be proud. And I can say today that I don't have a problem standing up here. And you know why? Because I get to make Jesus famous for what he is doing here in Pensacola, Florida. Not just through us, but through every single person that you've heard tonight. When we join hands together, there is actually no limit to what God can do. Now, my story, okay, it is like nothing, like pennies, compared to the stories you're fixing to hear. We've got 2 stories we're going to hear tonight of some beautiful girls that we've been walking with for over a year and a half. and they have changed our lives, and they're going to change your life tonight. So now we're going to hear April's story.